What is good? This is Ahead of the Spread presented by Wager Talk, where we check out three games for the next day. We check out the open numbers, notable line movements, and discuss key matchups and angles so you have an early edge for those three games there. I'm Ronald Cabang, got Ski Profit here with me today. Before we talk about the games for tomorrow, the three games for tomorrow, talk about how today went. Not great for me, so did hit my $5 play though. That was my top play of the day. That helped, but still a losing day. I missed. I went 1-3 today. I hit the Wizards team total under. That was my $5 play, and then I lost on Brooklyn Cleveland over. Injuries happened there. No Mitchell, no D'Lo. Those guys were out. Milwaukee, Indiana. I did take the over once Hallie was ruled in. That didn't work out, and then I added Clippers late too. So I was talking to Ski right before the show. I was like, man, these late ads, those are the ones that kill me. So I gotta step away from those and just stick with the ones that I like early on. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get back on track tomorrow. Ski, did you what'd you touch on today?
I did not bet anything, but and honestly, since I didn't bet anything, I got a chance to catch up on some rest, and I feel pretty damn good. But I'm
You
looking
didn't
at the
have no rest
scores
yesterday.
today.
No, last night you didn't have no rest.
Today. So I'm looking at the scores. Like I talked about all these games with you, and then I talked about them again.
Mhm.
During today with some other friends, and I would have won a couple games, maybe three games. So the day when I didn't pull the trigger, the leans are smacking. I thought it was interesting. I think I
Mhm.
mentioned it with you, but Milwaukee opened -3. It started to move down towards Indiana, and
Mhm.
that just seemed like the fishy line, like they were begging us to take Milwaukee, and
Yeah.
Indiana goes and wins outright. So I'm keeping my eye on stuff like that.
You know, so you know how like so yesterday it opened up at -3 on that Milwaukee, right? And then we go you said it started moving. I think during the show it moved down to 2.5. And then do you think it started at -3 because Hallie was questionable?
Well, Giannis and Lillard were questionable too.
Oh, that's true, yeah. No, they were probable, I thought.
Yeah, they were probable, I guess.
Yeah. It's interesting, yeah. I mean, like you said
But
though, man.
regardless, like if both
Yeah,
teams are healthy,
yeah,
I think Milwaukee should be favored by more.
yeah.
Like when Hallie got ruled in, the line kind of went to pick 'em, right?
Yeah, it moved quick. It
I
did
still
move
think
quick.
Milwaukee should have been favored. So that's why I was saying it seemed like fishy.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. All right, well, all right, well, let's get into the games here. I'll share my screen. Right here. First game we're gonna go over is OKC. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit more. Is OKC and Boston. Boston open up at -4.5. This has already come down to 3.5 at the lowest. There's still some fours available. OKC, no, the total 233.5. This is already went down to as low as 227. So steaming to the under. 228.5 is the best number I see on FanDuel. If we go to the injuries, we'll go to Boston first. KP is already ruled out. Jason Tatum is questionable. That could be the reason why it's moving down to OKC and the total going down. And if we go to the Thunder, Jalen Williams downgraded to out. So that's a big loss for them. Let's go to the moneyballer.com. Situational notes here. Bounce back spot. They did lose to Denver as heavy home favorites. And then third game in 4 nights, fourth game in six for the Thunder. So a little bit of fatigue on their side. Celtics double digit in season revenge. They do have um, Miami on deck, so they go from Boston to Miami, and then OKC. They've gotten this is a tough schedule spot right here. Denver back to back, and then Boston, and then go to Detroit on deck, and Detroit's playing really well right now too. So, what are your thoughts here on this one, Ski?
A lot of people missing obviously that, that really, really matter for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think we don't have Brown and Tatum out yet. They're just questionable. Or actually, no, Brown is probable.
Mm-hmm.
So the lack of Jalen Williams, it really makes me like I want to believe in the Thunder in this spot. Um, but I can't do it without Jalen Williams in there too. I think you need all the firepower versus Boston's team. If they can just focus defensively on SGA, like I think they can really limit the Thunder. Um, and I don't say that about very many teams, but I think the Celtics can
Mhm.
do it. So I think the under is moving in the right direction. It's obviously already moved quite a bit. As far as the side, feels pretty cheap to take Boston. But again, the injury report. So lean Boston, lean under.
I agree. I think those are the right sides. Real quick, I just looked at Jalen Williams when Thunder without Jalen Williams, they're 4-0 straight up and ATS. But if you look at the teams that they played on, I mean, none of them really stack up to Boston. One thing that I did see though earlier when I was capping this game, so the Thunder off of a loss, 11-1 straight up, but just 6-6 ATS. The over is kind of concerning, but again, Jalen Williams is out. But another thing here, if they are on the road, I think is it this one? 2-4 ATS in this spot. So a lot of people, expect the bounce back, but I mean the ATS wise is not that strong. But if you look at just a dog in general for the Thunder, they haven't been dogs much at all. Just two other times, but I mean, I think this was like what the first or second game of the season. I mean, we could really say that Thunder probably shouldn't have been dogs in that game. So true underdog, other underdog spot was the Cavs, and they lost that one outright. And then also that schedule spot that I was talking about, Denver back to back, and then go over to Boston, which is a crazy place to go to, and then Detroit on deck. It's just a really tough spot here. I think Boston should be able to get it done. I was looking at like a team total over type of situation too, potentially on the Celtics side, but their trends on their side didn't look that great as far as like home favorite. So I think for me, if I was to bet this one, it would be the side Celtics -4. I think that the number is probably going in the wrong direction here. Um, just real quick though, Skee. Last question on this one. Do you think obviously Tatum is questionable? Do you see this as an important game that Boston thinks that they should win? I know it's non-conference, right?
Nah, I don't really feel that way. Just because one, Boston are the champs. They
Yeah.
like, they know they're the top dogs. That's just how I feel about them. And
Mhm.
seating wise, I mean, they're 8 games behind first place, what, 5.5 games in front of the Knicks.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't think they really care too much. I think they're kind of coasting, just making sure they stay healthy till the end.
To the playoffs, yeah. Peaking at the right time, right? Wait to peak at the right time. I think that makes sense. Regardless, I think Boston for me. All right, let's go on to the next one here. The next game will be Denver and Minnesota. Denver opened up at -3. -3.5 is pretty much available across the board. Total 235.5 at open. Um, Still some 235.5 is available, but the highest I see is 236.5 right now. If we go to injuries, we'll go to Minnesota. We got Gobert is questionable, injury management there, and then we go to Denver side. Gordon unlikely to play, and then Schroeder's still out. All right, so over to the moneyballer.com.
Jokic
We
too,
get
right?
what was that?
Jokic too, right?
I don't see him on here.
Oh, he's
What do you
probable. My
what do you
bad.
have
He's
for? He's
probable.
doubtful.
Probable.
A probable.
Sorry.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah. On here for some reason I don't see probable too often. It's usually questionable, or out or something like that. Maybe probable is assuming that they're going to play.
Gotcha.
But I would still like to know if it was probable. All right, so over to the moneybar.com. Wolves, they are the more rested team. 2 or 3 days of rest right there. They didn't play since the ninth. Nuggets, double digit in season revenge on their side. This is a letdown spot though after beating OKC in Oklahoma. Third game in 4 nights, fourth game in six as well. A couple other things on this game from a situational standpoint, I think. Actually, no, it's the next game, the last game. So this one here, Ski, potential fatigue on the Nugget side, plus a letdown. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, if you talk like that, I'm gonna type it in and try to look it up here. But if you talk like that, um, like Denver is not in a great spot. The injury report doesn't favor them, and they're still favored over a Minnesota team that's won 5 straight.
Hmm.
Um, that's what kind of is standing out to me. I want to try to get behind Minnesota if anything in this game. You also have sorry, my bad, you guys. You also have Nuggets coming off of back-to-back games versus OKC, which I think they paid a lot of attention, and those are back-to-back games. Like I think those are games that they cared about quite a bit.
Hmm.
So, um, I mean, they should care about Minnesota. Minnesota put them out, right? So,
Yeah.
I just know Minnesota's more rested. They're playing good right now. I lean towards them as an underdog. Um, the total is interesting. Minnesota has been playing a lot of overs, probably a lot because Gobert hasn't been playing in all those games.
Hmm.
So I would want to know his status. Um, Obviously, if the guys are in for Denver too, and Gobert's out, I would lean over.
This is I was looking towards the over as well. I think a lot of the trends are pointing in that direction. Not like significant trends, but overall, Wolves on the season 36, 29, and 1 to the over. Nuggets 37, 28 to the over. In the home favorite situation, overs rest. When less rested, they go over. This is the interesting spot here. Um, Wolves, they give up a ton of points, 40, 25, and 1 for opponent's team total over. And we know Nuggets offense is pretty solid. Obviously, the injury report is something to worry about. But I do lean towards the over. And this is an interesting one, Ski. That kind of points to the over too. Obviously, they beat the Thunder. Yeah, the Thunder. So I wanted to see how teams do after beating the Thunder. It's actually 10-2 to the over. So it kind of points in that direction. Also, in this situation, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight straight teams to beat OKC failed to cover the following game. So that's a pretty interesting trend right there. But I think over might be the better way to look. I think I pretty much agree with that one. All right, let's go to the third game here. We have the Knicks and the Blazers. Knicks open up at -3.5 on the road here against Portland. Still 3.5 here at BetMGM, but everyone else is over at is up to -4. The total 226 at open, and this has come as high as 227. But pretty after that 226.5 across. If we go to injuries, we'll go to New York first. Um, so obviously Brunson is the key man out here, and then we go to the Portland side. Robert Williams questionable, Matisse Thybulle questionable, Grant unlikely to play, Aiden continues to be out. Over at themoneyballer.com, we have the Blazers in a fatigue spot, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6. But what I want to call out here, Ski, this is a 10th straight game with travel for
Travel.
the Knicks,
Yeah.
right? 10th straight game with travel.
Wait,
Uh,
wait for the Knicks.
both teams. I was going to say
Yeah. Okay.
that
Okay.
too. So it's the
Okay.
Knicks and the Blazers. So both teams traveling a ton in their most recent schedule. The one thing that I could see here only on the Knicks side right here, back-to-back games in LA. But other than that, it's pretty much travel for all the other games. Um, I don't know, man. This one is pretty tough. I know the Blazers have been pretty solid as home dogs this season, 17-10 ATS and as home dogs. On the season, Knicks not that great. Um, I I don't know where to go from ATS perspective, from a side perspective, but I was kind of looking towards the under with this fatigue spot here on both sides or travel fatigue. What are your thoughts here on this one?
Well, you mentioned both teams doing a lot of travel lately.
Hmm.
One difference right now is Portland's been playing a lot more games. I mean, it is third and four, fourth and six, and the Knicks, what they have the rest advantage here before the last game, or I mean, they don't have a one game rest advantage, but before the last game, they had 2 days off.
Hmm.
Before their next game, they have another 2 days off. Talking about Portland traveling all these games, every single game in March. Really, and you can go back to February
Yep.
traveling all these games. But they have this is their third game in 4 nights. That's the difference. And then after this, they have 3 days off. So I feel like Portland is more like I just I
Let's
just want to
get through it.
Yeah, I just want
Yeah,
some
just
time
get
off.
paid. Yep,
Let's
makes
go get
sense.
a break. Um, Meanwhile, New York, they had a couple of before their previous game versus Sacramento, they had what, three straight losses.
Hmm.
Um, so I think they're a more team that's focused. Like I mentioned before, their previous game, they had time to, um, with the 2 days off, figure out how they're going to play without Brunson, etc. And I think the Knicks can win this one by four or more.
I agree. I actually thinking about that now, Ski, and looking at the schedule here. One thing that we talk about a lot is, when you go from East Coast to West Coast or the other way around, it's usually that second game where you get that travel fatigue, right? So look at where we're at right now. So they Knicks went from New York to LA. They barely lost this one, or they barely failed to cover this one. The second game is where they got kind of they failed to cover by a huge margin, right? That's their second game after the big travel. Then that third game, right? That second game is where the jet lag happens. The last, the jet lag. Third game, they're now situated. Even without Brunson, they were able to win by a huge margin here. I think this is another situation where they're in the West Coast now for a few days, and I think their time or their body has adjusted, right? So I think that the travel situation, like you said, is definitely worse for the Blazers than it is for the Knicks here. And also the fatigue spot, like you said, third game in 4 nights versus the 2 days of rest. They also have another 2 days following to before they face the Warriors. So schedule spot points in that direction. I think hopefully the Knicks are now figuring out their offense without Brunson for a little bit, as they know he's going to be out for a few games. Knicks to me are the right side. I do think that the under is also the right way to go here. Um,
I agree with the under too.
yeah, I like it. All right, so those were the ones. Those are the three games for tomorrow. I know people are asking for more games, but even if we did go through the other games, there's so many injuries on all the other games that it doesn't even. We would probably pass on those as well. Like we can't really figure anything out right now as far as the injury report on those other games. So let's go on to our top look ski. Oh, Buck banner. All right, so real quick,
Pretentious prodigy.
WT.buzz backslash HP for Ski Profit, WT.buzz backslash RC for myself to go directly to our capper pages. You can get 33% off an NBA pass for Ski or myself with coupon code NBA33. Um, I know the college basketball is going on right now. Ski, and you're probably going to touch on that for March Madness and all that stuff. I think I'm going to stay away and just focus on NBA and then gear up for MLB and the WNBA season. Um, but other than that, that NBA 33 coupon code, check out all the other packages that we got going on over at the website. All access packages, so you can get both his NBA and college and everything else that he touches. But Ski, uh, 3 games, man. What are the top looks for these 3 games here?
Shout out to the chat, especially my guy, Pretentious Prodigy, Brian H, JP, B Daddy. Appreciate you guys. A lot of usual suspects. Got to shout y'all out for staying up late night to watch the show and cap the games with us. Um, Out of these 3 games, I have not a whole lot of interest in betting OKC and Boston with the injury report the way it is.
Mhm.
So as of right now, it is Minnesota plus 3.5 or Knicks minus 4. Will be my recommendations. What I'm looking to get to the window with.
Got you. For the first game, that's Celtics and Thunder. If Tatum is in, or if you expect Tatum to be in tomorrow, you would probably want to take it now, just because I mean, the line is probably where it's at or moving in that direction because he's questionable. But if he is announcing, it'll move. So if you like Celtics, I would say take it now rather than later. For the second game, the Wolves Nuggets, I think over is the right side there. Um, I'm not too sure where to go on the side, but I think the over is the way to go. And
Do you
then
care
on the
about
last
waiting
game,
for Gobert?
I don't even care. No, not really. I don't
Okay.
think so. Based on the trends and what I've seen here and recent form and all that stuff, schedule spot, I think a lot of things are to me are pointing towards the over. And then on that last game. Blazers and Knicks there. I think Knicks for the side and then under. So potential look towards the Blazers team total under potentially. So those would be the top looks for here. All right, well, with that said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. We do have what today's Wednesday or tomorrow today's Tuesday, so two more shows for the week until we have the weekend. And if you hit that subscribe button and get the notifications, you won't miss another show. Anything else, Skee, before we cut
Odds
out?
logic.
Odds logic.
We there's a link in the description to the video. You guys see when we pull it up and we're line shopping and just trying to get the best of the number, and with the odds logic, you can put the books in any order that you want. So I'm pretty sure you can get a free, I think it's a 7-day trial.
Yeah.
So yeah, the link is in the description to the video.
Yep, 100%. Also, the other one is themoneyballer.com. That's the website that we use for our stats, trends, and insights. You can see how easy it is to use, color coded, with the filters, all the situational stuff. I mean, one thing that I really like about that site, dude, is uh, I think the difference with our site compared to a lot of other places, Ski, is it was made by handicappers for handicappers versus like people just trying to put data in there for people to use, right? Like we put it in a way that it's actually helpful for others to use. So that's the reason why I like using the moneybar.com. It's laid out just the way that most handicappers would like it. With that said, guys, that's the end of the show. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time. Peace.